really overused parody format. Hey guys, so I watched The Shining for the first time in ever, just a little while ago, and it led me to the question that is now going to be a new series of videos that I make, and that is it still good? And yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start recording because syncing video and audio together separately kind of suck right now. So I'll see you guys soon. So that skit that I did in the very beginning, "Here's Johnny," I knew what that was way before seeing the movie, and that's not because of it being overpopular to a point of being a negative thing, but it's iconic. Honestly, I'm kind of ashamed of myself for not having seen this earlier and it being a favorite of mine since I was younger. But honestly, I think if I watched it at a younger age, I wouldn't have appreciated some of the things that I'm going to talk about. One of those things is the subtleties. This movie is about a recovering alcoholic watching over a hotel during a winter storm as the main plot, but there's so much to unpack that isn't spoken. You see the recovering part of the alcoholism reflected in Wendy's eyes. There's just something about her. It's dull, it's drawn back, and she looks like she was emotionally abused. And it was believable. That, and speaking of abuse, there was mentions of that with Danny, Jack's younger son. Which, by the way, the actor who played Danny did a fantastic job, by the way, for being so young. He just seems emotionally distant from his dad, and the scene when Danny is sitting on Jack's lap, you can see that it looks like he's only doing it because he's listening to his father. It's not only mentioned in earlier parts of the movie, in the therapist scene, it's also brought back to Jack's memory when Jack is discussing it over a glass.
It was an accident. Completely unintentional.
And another thing, not that I wouldn't have noticed, but I maybe wouldn't have appreciated it so much if I'd watched this when I was younger, was the cinematography in this film is just absolutely stunning. The film uses a multitude of wide-angle shots, lower angles, some helicopter shots, pre-drone, an overhead view of the bush maze, the, again, iconic scene of the hallway. Also, I can't not mention the blood elevator. Now, with all that being said, could it be recreated today? And if you're looking at the plot being set in the time that it was, but filmed today, probably, yeah. But if it was set in today's society, I don't think so at all. Not with internet connection, cellular service, and a few other things that I'm sure I'm forgetting. But it could all be written off as weather and whatnot, but that's not the important thing. The fact is, this is a classic movie. Now, obviously, it can be redone to an extent if you've watched the new Dr. Sleep movie, which I need to. But also, remaking a classic like this, you'd have to think that you're not going to have some of the phenomenal acting of a young Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and a young Danny Lloyd, let alone all of the others of this movie. Rest in peace, Scatman Crothers, both as the actor and as Halloran, which I'm told in the novel he doesn't die. I've yet to finish the novel. But that being said, this is the first movie I've ever watched that made me want to read its book. I've honestly never felt that way until now, and I'm excited to read through this and Dr. Sleep, which I plan to do shortly after filming this. But anyway, that leaves one last question I think many already have answered, but is it still good? Yes, this movie is truly a timeless classic, and I apologize to Stephen King. I know he didn't like this movie, but I loved it. This movie is a masterpiece in cinematography, to say the least. And yes, I would heavily recommend going out, getting this movie, and watching it if you haven't yet. It's absolutely worth taking the shot. I wasn't disappointed, and I know that you won't be either. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got left, and until next time, stay rad.